is a news show.
Hello, nation. Welcome to the Wednesday show. Of course, my name's Philip DeFranco, and this show is really just me talking about newsy tap stuff and things that matter to me today. And just a quick update before we jump into the first story of the day today. The Fusroda shirt is only available for 24 more hours. So if you want to get that or the poster while they are available, do it. Link down below. But let's jump into the first story of the day. And nation, the first thing I want to talk about today is a story involving the always lovely Courtney Stodden. It feels so dirty. But the reason we're talking about Courtney Stodden is PETA, in its infinite wisdom, has decided to make Courtney a spokesperson. Because why not? Hey, and here's part of Courtney's PSA.
I had my first Thanksgiving with being a vegetarian, no turkey. I had tofu, a vegan dish. It was delicious. I did not miss turkey. I never had a hamburger in my life. And I'm so glad that I can say that. I never want to eat a hamburger.
Why would you do this to us, PETA? I mean, I understand you're fans of anything with cleavage that loves animals, but seriously, no one likes Courtney Stodden. And you could argue, well, yeah, you used boobs, I'm paying attention, your objective completed. No, if anything, this video makes me want to shoot a cow in the face. The main points to this story: 1, Courtney Stodden, even though you have fantastic boobs, I hate you as a human being. 2, Courtney, please get a speech coach because you talk like you're having a seizure, and even though it kind of makes me want to grudge bang you, anger. 3, even though I've been slowly trying to cut meat out of my life because I eventually want to become a vegetarian, I will make a vow now that every time PETA uses someone that I consider one of the worst human beings on the planet, I will create an event that would give Harley from Epic Mealtime a Woody, where just hundreds of people come in, eat steak, I'll film it, and glorify meat eating, because what you are doing is bullshit. Because 4, to repeat a point I made earlier, getting attention is not just the end goal. You are pushing forward a bad stereotype that vegans and vegetarians and all people of that mindset are high and mighty and stupid, and I want to slap them in the face. And I mean, if we're going to talk about rescuing animals, let's talk about Courtney Stodden's dog. That dog looks so sad it could make Sarah McLachlan cry. Your dog even looks like he wants to commit suicide. Stop talking, and we move on to the movie Bully. We've talked about this movie on and off for the past few months, but in the past week, it's been very awesome to see many celebrities getting behind it. If this is your first time hearing about it, Bully is a documentary about a bunch of kids that get bullied. What their daily life is like, how they react, their family, the community, everything. The problem came when the people that made the movie said, no, we don't want to censor what these kids say. These kids say and do the most hateful, evil things, and if we censor it, that's kind of going against the whole point. So the MPAA said, no, that has an R rating, to which the people that made the movie were like, how about you go f*** yourself, excuse our R-rated language, but we're going to go in unrated. Tons of petitions were made to contest the MPAA, but they stuck by their ruling. The people in Canada, though, kind of cool, gave it a PG rating, but back in the States, we were left with an unrated movie, which meant theaters might be scared of it. And that has been the case with some theaters, but AMC was like, what up, little buddy? Let's do this together, because we're a really cool movie theater and it totally won't affect our profits. Winky face. But the obvious profits aside, it was very cool to see AMC take this movie under their wing, and they even went as far to launching a dedicated website just for Bully that allows a special permission slip for people under 17. So if schools or parents want their kids to see this movie, but they don't want to go themselves, you go to this website, you fill out the permission slip, and then your kid can go watch the movie. And so I guess the main thing here is, there are going to be people that try and put a negative spin on this, like, oh, the Weinstein Company and AMC, they're doing this to generate profits. Which I would say, hey, smart marketing, but at the end of the day, if people watch this and they are affected by it, then I don't care if someone made a buck. A lot of good things come from people who also want to make a profit. It's just how the world works. But that's just my opinion, and we move on. And the next thing I want to hit on is something that reflects back on the PDS, the internet in general, and that is Fox News and CNN are losing viewers like nobody's business. I mean, shows and channels always fluctuate in viewership, but Fox News went down 17% in viewership just last month. And that sounds really terrible. That's almost 1/5 of your audience. But it doesn't sound as bad as what CNN is experiencing, and that is a 50% drop in viewership. More importantly, a 60% drop in their key demographic, 25 to 54-year-olds. And many people are saying this drop in viewership is probably coming from these networks not talking about the real issues, or when they do talk about it, just skewing it for their agenda. Most notably, the Occupy, and even though I kind of sort of hate them sometimes, the Tea Party movement. Where were the mentions of the NDAA, which was the indefinite detention provisions? Pure just media blackouts on certain candidates like Ron Paul, or the thing that bothers me is when CNN talks about Kim Kardashian. And the real good part of the story is that it wasn't like 50% of CNN's people were like, I don't care about news anymore. Because what we've been seeing more and more over the years, very heavily now, is this escape from TV into consuming news in a faster, more compact way online. Whether it's through blogs like the Huffington Post, Gawker, aggregators like Reddit or StumbleUpon, or even my little show. And honestly, when you look at some of the numbers for the viewers of these shows, you wonder how are you still being paid? Because when it comes to video of news, I can't but kind of, sort of compare myself to TV. I mean, granted, these shows are only usually like 6 to 11 minutes, but the fact that CNN only gets 456,000 viewers in prime time, and a lot of it is just repeating the same stories. And that's like a whole dedicated, fat, resource-intensive network. Somehow, in this bizarro world, this dick face right here and this editor buddy talk to double the amount of people. In fact, the only people that dwarf us in views would be Fox News. O'Reilly and Hannity straight up crush me, but it's very interesting to see this slow move to the internet. I mean, that's honestly why I even made the other channel SourceFed. It was just this idea I really wanted to prove on how I think that news is going to be consumed in the future. On demand to most any device, trying to be as unbiased as possible, or at least if we are biased, have two different varying biasnesses. That's what I was looking for. So super mega ultimate point, the internet, she is a beast, and she is only getting stronger. And just for a moment, because we are talking about the shows, I do want to say thank you to you guys. I do want to let you know that I will never sell this show or any of the news or information releasing shows to anyone, because I like that myself and other people can spout their opinions and not have to worry about the pressures of the money train that's coming in. And so with things like SourceFed and serious channels and not so serious channels, I will always try to make sure that all points of view have a voice, and even though I sometimes do let my emotions and bias get to me, because we're human. But that's why I always link to the articles, because my only agenda with this show is for you to have your own opinion, whether it agrees or disagrees with what I'm saying. And that kind of brings us to the final story of the day today, that I am going to start with a tiny, small, insignificant apology. And that's because, once again, we're going to be talking about the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman. Actually, Spike Lee is also involved today. But specifically with this story, I do want to somewhat apologize, because I try not to be biased, and I pride myself on showing all points of view before I skewer or love anything, and I kind of railroaded my opinion on this. And the reason I say it's a semi-apology is because I still have the same opinion on this, but I realize I am somewhat guilty of doing some of the stuff I hate. So I just wanted to throw that out there. First off, it turns out all the pictures that we have been using are old pictures of Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. There are new ones that show George Zimmerman dressed up, very clean. New pics of Trayvon Martin have been released of him throwing out gang signs, having grills. Stories about how Trayvon was suspended for writing stuff on the walls. He was arrested once for having weed residue in a pipe. And information from all sides going to discredit everyone. New information came out that George Zimmerman is the son of a retired judge. Also news that early in the investigation, the Sanford Police Department actually wanted to arrest George Zimmerman, requesting an arrest warrant for homicide/negligent manslaughter. The state's attorney office saying, no, we'll review it later. That George Zimmerman has 3 closed arrests, one of them being for domestic violence. But then on the other side now, supposedly there is a new witness that says that they saw Zimmerman getting beaten up. So with bringing you up to speed on both sides, showing Trayvon Martin not possibly the angel that the family wants to show him as, that there might be truth to Trayvon Martin punching George Zimmerman before he was shot. And so with all that, I want to echo what I said yesterday. When you go out looking for trouble with a gun, you cannot cry self-defense, because you're going out for it. But then to go back to my opinion, I am not apologetic of my opinion. I believe that George Zimmerman was still in the wrong. Even if this 160-pound kid knocked down this almost 240-pound dude and started wailing on him, it was because George Zimmerman went out looking for trouble with a gun. He is not a police officer. He is a congratulated community watch person. And so that was the main thing. In my opinion, I think the fault is still on Zimmerman. It's just the situation is less black and white and more gray. But what I was really sad to see this morning were other people that were railroaded by their emotions and jumped to conclusions, but did something far worse, and that is a story that involves Spike Lee. And that was because on Twitter, people were tweeting the address of George Zimmerman. Spike Lee and many of his 200,000 followers started retweeting. It spread. People went to the house and they were just waiting for him. Turns out it was the home of David and Elaine McClain, a couple in their 70s. And I just really got to look at the situation and go, wow, it's really showing us the worst in everyone. I mean, whether you look at the tweets of the people that thought they had George Zimmerman's address, the people that went there to potentially not only protest, but hurt this person. I mean, adding violence to this violence, you're seeing the racism on both sides. I mean, whether you look at all the racist comments on like, oh, Trayvon has a grill, he deserved it, to the people spreading this address and number, and you look at the tweets and you're like, wow, there's a lot of hate. And then all the people that didn't talk about protesting, but essentially just murdering this guy, on top of that there's supposedly a $10,000 bounty that was issued by the Black Panther Party. I mean, they're reportedly offering $10,000 to bring George Zimmerman in in alive or dead. Last time I checked, that wasn't legal. And honestly, the fact that we're all at this point kind of boggles my mind. And you have extremists on both sides spewing all this vile, trying to affect all the people in the middle. People acting out like Bobby Rush this morning, who made C-SPAN interesting for like the first time ever, took off his jacket, revealed that he had a hoodie on, and then he got kicked out. And honestly, it's hard to form an opinion that's not based on pure emotions when you look at how gray the situation is now. There is craziness out there right now, but it does bring us to the question of the day, which is, now that you have the new pictures, the new information from both sides, has your opinion of this changed at all? So let me know what you think in the comments down below. But yeah, that is today's show. And nation, we have come to the part of the show where I throw something at your face, and today it is a $100 Amazon gift card. Of course, to possibly get pelted in the face with said thing, just leave a comment on this video. And of course, a big thank you to those of you that remember to clickety-clack the like button, favorite, share on Twitter and Facebook, all those good things. But of course, as always, my name is Philip DeFranco, and you've just been filled in. I love your faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.